Welcome back to Lessons for Life. It's Wednesday night. Here's someone who used to go live every Wednesday night. It's Barbara Ali, all the way from Sweden. Welcome, Barbara.
How you doing, Julian?
I'm very well, and hearing you loud and clear, which is good news.
Yes.
Terrorists or troubled? Yeah, go on, sorry.
Yeah, I apologize for the last show.
It's all good.
I was having some technical
Bit of
difficulties.
ring rust. You've been out of the ring too long.
You know, I'm probably turning into that uncle who doesn't know how to use technology.
We had him on the other night. He called in from France. Good topic, by the way, that you chose. Very important.
What? Me?
Yeah, was this not your idea? Oh, you made me think of it. Well, either way.
You make it my idea.
Terrorist or troubled individuals. What are these incels that turn to violence? Can we call that terrorism?
I believe it becomes terrorism, but it starts off as troubled.
Okay. And where does it start for these individuals? They're all male. This is a male phenomenon, right? Incel, involuntary celibate male person. They all seem to be youngish males, guys in their 20s. Would that be fair to say? And it's an online subculture.
Yes, it's growing. I mean, they found a community for themselves. So it's pretty sad, really. Instead of being accountable and trying to fix your issues, you're actually looking for sympathy and then trying to justify why you are the way you are, so you can continue to be the way you are.
And what's made these guys end up like this? Is it our modern society?
Yeah, I mean,
is it the war on men?
Yeah, I believe there's a lot of problems in Europe and particularly the West in general. I believe males are being attacked. I do think that males are, yeah, I mean, I do think so. I think the feminist agenda is really strong, and men are just losing their way. I mean, it's difficult to be manly nowadays. You know what I mean? It's like very hard. And if you do try to be manly, it's like you are trying to assert dominance, which is not true. You know, just because you're trying to be a man, it doesn't mean you're trying to assert dominance.
What do you mean by manly then? And why you're bringing up dominance? Is that what we think of when we think of a man?
Well, if you look back, I mean, I'm Muslim, so I believe in certain roles, okay, of certain genders. Actually, there's only two genders, not certain genders, okay?
Are there? So, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so okay, well, let me get to the thingy. So throughout history, you know, there's particular things that males are good at, and there's particular things that females are good at. I mean, it's within their nature, right? And you never saw throughout history like a clash coming, you know, like people were confused about their roles. I mean, in general, you know, people were happy with their roles in society and in contributing to the world. There was no
were they everywhere in all societies, were they?
Well, if you look at it, this feminist agenda has only come about last 100 years, right? And who started this agenda? White Western women. So feminism in itself is taught to people. It's something that's been taught. It's not something that people are born with. It's not an innate nature.
Right. So there is a cultural aspect to this and maybe a racist aspect. Do you think that this Western form of feminism has been imposed on other countries, third world countries, colonized countries?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it's going that way. It's spreading. These ideas are spreading. I mean, let's call them ideas, you know, because I don't believe that they are particularly natural to the person. You know, these things are taught to people. It's not something that comes naturally to them.
So, I'm guessing your take is that this is a Western phenomenon because it is a backlash to feminism. Are you really blaming feminism for the incel phenomenon, and as a consequence, the violence that can come with that?
No, no. It's not just one particular thing. It's also other social issues. It can be single parent homes. It could be social economic backgrounds of individuals. It could be just the fact that there isn't enough maybe male role models that are really doing what they should be doing, and that is nurturing. I mean, we always push the nurturing aspect on women, but men should nurture too.
Okay. So these young men, you think they've been missing a male role model in their life that could nurture them, be a good example, and show them how to be a man, and they've wound up feeling unable to
Yeah.
find a partner because they don't know how to be a man, and a woman needs a man.
Well, I think that,
And vice
how am I going to
versa.
put this? There's no, yeah, there's no perfect way of saying, okay, this is the way to be a man or this is the way to be a woman. You know, what we can do is we can keep certain, how can you say, ways of living consistent. Do you understand? So it's not like you're gonna say, okay, this is how a man is, this is how a woman is. You got to be this way, because there is really no set way. Everyone is different. Everyone is unique. Okay, but a role in society and how the society progresses and keeps moving forward, you know, it has always been consistent throughout history. It hasn't really changed that much. Only in recent times you'll see people confused. People don't know like who they are, what they're doing, and then they become lost, and you know, and then they get other fanatical ideas.
Hmm. Look, if you don't mind me going a little bit into your background, you're a personal trainer, right? Are your clients mainly men, mainly female, 50-50?
Yes. Well, I've taken on this role as being a coach and personal trainer in just the last few years, particularly new to myself. So, you know, it's not like I've been a coach for many years. It's something that I'm learning and developing my own skills so I can help other people. And yes, the majority of people that I coach are males.
I mean, who knows? If you're giving the right support, you may prevent a tragedy like this. But I think we can't blame this all on one factor. We just mentioned in the comments the individual also apparently had autism. That could be another factor. There was mental illness, which is another factor, and the mother apparently had been crying out to the NHS for help, and she was not given the help that she needed. I'm going to introduce you now to PK, who is waiting in the wings, regular contributor. I'd love to hear what he has to say if he's there. PK, you're through to Barber. Hello, PK.
Hi. Hello, how is everyone?
We're doing well.
Can you hear me okay?
Question for you guys take over. Go for it. We're getting an echo now. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, this. Oh, hang on. That's me. Hang on. I know
All right.
why. Let me turn that off. Let me turn that off.
Do
Right, that should be better. Yeah. Shooting. Is that what they're calling the guy? An incel?
Yes, apparently so. That's what, and we've latched onto it as well. This is one of his identities.
Hang on a second. I'm having a technical.
That's all right. Do what you've got to do. I've got a picture on the screen. Incels aren't a punchline. It's high time we took them seriously. Yeah, we're with you, PK. You go for it, mate.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. You go for it.
Hello?
We hear you, PK. Go for it.
I'll come back.
He's having some technical difficulties. I'll just put the article up there, Barbara. We can have a look at it. Plymouth shooting rampage is a horrific wake-up call for Britain to finally start treating incel culture like the urgent problem it is. Look, I hope we're not lending gravitas to this identity. If it is something very toxic masculinity, very negative, I hope we're not making excuses for individuals that want to go down a dark hole on the dark web or the normal web and convince each other that it's a good idea to go and attack someone. But I don't think that's necessarily what happened here, because not only was this chap an incel, he also had mental health problems. He also may have had autism. There's many, many layers to it, and I don't think we can pin it all on the one thing. Let's try PK one more time. Try our luck. PK, we can hear you, PK. So if you want to pose a question,
guys,
we'll hear it.
Me.
We can.
Audio. My phone. Yeah. Okay.
Well, we're not having much luck with PK, but if he's hearing this, PK, if you want to just come on with a question, we can hear you, no problem. But Barbara, do you think we're playing a dangerous game by blaming it all on the incel culture? A little bit like when it's all because of Islam when a Muslim does something like this. Is it the answer never quite that simple? Right, we've got Barbara still. Otherwise, we might have lost everyone.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, go on, Barbara. Are we oversimplifying it?
I'm here.
Yeah, go
on. We sort of had a little chat about mental health sport, just right. And we said that the Olympics is a stage for the elite, which means that you have to have the total package, and that includes mental strength. Okay, so that means that you have to be a functioning person. Are you hearing me okay, Julian?
Yeah, I'm with you. You go for it, Barbara. You go for it.
Okay, so my point is that, okay, there is such a thing as mental illness, okay, and people, they need to be diagnosed and they need to receive the right help, because the fact is that their minds don't function as a regular person, okay, so that is real. But then there is people who could be depressed, down, maybe lack courage, lack good characteristics because they never developed any good characteristics, do you understand, or good qualities. So then they call this mental health, but I don't believe so. I don't believe that everyone suffers from mental health. I think that some people just have character, and people who do suffer from mental health, you see that how they are. Do you understand? It's like they are generally struggling because their mind is just a function.
Couldn't we say that mental health is kind of like having a temperature? We've all got a body temperature. It's meant to be 36.5 or whatever, or within the certain range. But sometimes you get a very high temperature, and sometimes you get hypothermia, you get a very low temperature. Are we not all somewhere on that continuum? And if we don't eat right, sleep right, get enough exercise, and look after our spirituality, we will become mentally and physically unwell. And we know I'm not an expert, and I know there are chemical imbalances in the brain that might be causing some people's mental illness, but I'm sure we could all benefit from the certain criteria that I just mentioned, and we're all somewhere on that scale of mental health, and we could lose it at any time, because you never know when you could have a tragedy. You never know when you could go bankrupt or become homeless, or anything that could befall us. And we're all just trying to stay mentally well. It's not like the mentally ill are a different species of people that only they suffer from it.
right.
Fi Green is saying the two
so-
signatures required. Go on,
Yep.
go on, Barbara, you're in. Go on.
I agree with you there. I agree.
Yeah.
Am I in? Okay. You are right with what you're saying. You know, life. If you don't put your act together, you don't do, you know, your daily chores. You don't do, you know, you don't remove the chaos from your life. You don't be accountable. You don't take care of your health, etc. You can go on and on and on. Do this, do this, do this. If you don't do the basic things, you don't do that, you will fall apart. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. And I think the other problem is that society, on one hand, is making people soft, and when challenges occur, they just can't handle it. You know, it's like we live in this culture now that everything is just there for us. You know, we can buy what we want, go where we want, do what we want. There is no challenge. You know, the challenge of life is like becoming less and less, especially in the West, you know, where so many things are available to us.
Is this the edge that some athletes from the non-Western countries have over maybe the Americans who just have a day off if they're not feeling good? You could be in the peak of physical health and fitness, but if you haven't got that mental strength, which could be as important, and maybe it's more important in some sports than in others, when you really have to dig deep, and as they say, it's about who wants it more. Sometimes is that the edge that the very spiritual and strong believing Khabib Nurmagomedov had over Conor McGregor, who is completely void of spirituality and just became about materialism because he felt like he could have everything, whereas Khabib remembers that there's something that you can't put a price on, and you know that's believing in God for him. Let's try PK again. PK, I hope we can hear you. You go for it, PK. With your comment, yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I've got a thought on this. It's a new thing to me. This incel word and this incel phenomenon, if that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that it seems to be, from what I gather, men or young men that don't have confidence in themselves, or especially don't have confidence around girls, or they have some sort of real negative attitudes towards women, possibly through their failings. I mean, I would say that the best way to get confidence is to actually go and do things in real life and get out and stop sitting behind a computer screen, interacting through games and stuff like that, and start getting out and going, getting fit and sort of looking after yourself. And then women will obviously, you know, you'll meet women at these places, and
that's right.
You'll make friends. And if you meet enough people and make friends, sooner or later, you'll have a girlfriend. You know, you don't have to be the best looker on the planet, because not all the girls are the best looker on the planet. So you know what I mean?
There's someone for everyone.
Someone for everybody.
Yeah.
But you've got to get out there. You've got to get out,
right.
and you've got to be the best version of yourself, haven't you?
Yeah.
And sport,
I think that's so.
It's a great thing for men. Yeah. Like fitness is the best remedy for depression. Eating a good diet and getting out there and getting fit. And once you start to achieve fitness goals, it becomes quite addictive. And I think it gives you great confidence in yourself and your ability to communicate with others, because you will be communicating with others if you do team sports, if you go to sort of CrossFit type stuff, which is very mixed, boys and girls, men and women, you know. I think
you should be writing this down.
These people they're sitting at home getting depressed, looking at the world through a screen, and that's not going to help you.
It's not. And I think it's so important what you said. If you do all these wholesome activities, then meeting a partner will happen anyway. It'll happen as a consequence. If you go to what they call it, speed dating or whatever, or you're just on the apps looking for that one thing, you're not going to find it. But if you live in a wholesome life, you're going to stumble across the right one anyway. Look, let's welcome another friend on the
Yeah,
screen.
you've got to do things.
Yeah, get out there and do it. Hello, Chris. We're hearing you very loud and very clear. I don't know if you've got a fan on in the background, but how are you doing? Welcome.
Oh, really? Oh, hey, Jules. How's it going? Hey, guys.
Yeah, good. No, good to see you. You're just a bit echoey, but
yeah, let me see if I can.
We can see you and hear you. You have a chat with PK. I'm going to take a back seat. What do you make of what's been said so far?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different elements to it, isn't there, Jules? If you've sort of talked about, so there's the incel element. It's not clear to me what the connection is between any kind of negative elements of that incel culture against what he's actually done, which is just go out on the street and shoot people at random. That doesn't seem to be connected to any specific ideology to me. So that one I'm not sure about.
Good point. Maybe we have leapt on it and put two and two together, and we're just looking for something. And like, had he been a Muslim, it would have been that. Oh, he's a radical. Had he been a far right guy, I mean, I don't know. Are incels far right? I don't think they are political. I think, are we just looking for an explanation for his horrific behaviour? I mean, someone said in the chat, some people are just evil. I don't know about that. He's got mental illness. He may also suffer from autism. He's been severely let down by by society and the medical attention that he was meant to get. But we have been bringing up the incel topic, and I think it is a negative social online. Is it an online society? I don't know. I think it does have a negative impact on men, and I think it could lead to hate attacks. So I thought it was important to explore that. But I think it is important what you said. It may not be a full explanation. It may not be related at all. But I can see why people think that it might be. Yeah. What about getting out there and meeting someone? Do you think it's as simple as that? Can you tell someone like this who may not have the social skills, just go and join CrossFit and you'll be fine?
CrossFit.
How do you help someone like that?
I think it's a big problem in society, actually, potentially, that there are, and I think it's not a small number. There's a lot of young men out there that, and I think as one of your other guests has said, don't have confidence, don't have social skills, and they do need to get out there, but I don't know how to support them to do that if they're sort of lost into this, these forums and maybe other sort of online activities. How do you support somebody to kind of get out there when it's going to be maybe scary for them, or that sort of thing?
Good question. And also, these are straight men. There's roughly the same amount of men and women. Surely there are women out there for these guys. Surely there are women who are feeling the same. Unless how would it work? What's happening? I might bring Barbara in here. Barbara, are women only choosing a select bunch of men, the alpha males, and the rest of us just have to go without? I think in the beehive, and we can learn a lot from bees, there's only one queen, but many worker bees and many drones. Is every guy meant to get married?
I don't know if everyone's meant to get married. Just PK here jumping in. I don't know if
go on, PK, jump in, please.
Meant to get married. Yeah, I don't know if saying everyone should get married is the right thing. I'm not married, and I'm quite happy. Maybe in another lifetime I might have been. But
say never, PK.
It is what it is. But I think lonely people, male and female. Never say never, of course not. I go out and enjoy myself, like, and if I meet that person, I meet that person. But I just go out and be me. But then again, I'm quite confident in myself and going out and talking nonsense to anybody. I don't really give a monkey, so I just do it. You know.
And you're clearly happy in yourself.
Comes from, I think it could school, and it could probably start with. Yes, I think that's the thing. You've just got to be happy in yourself, and if you're happy in yourself, other people will stick around you. Let's be honest about it. No, the miserable.
So PK, I lost you there a bit, but I think you said be happy in yourself, which I think is the most important thing. And again, if you're chasing something, it's going to run away from you. But if you're just enjoying life, you are going to attract positive energy. And I think that is the way to go, and not fixate on. I mean, it's self-fulfilling prophecy. If you keep saying, "Oh, I'm no good. Oh, women hate me," it's like a mantra for these guys, and I think they almost want to be miserable. Dardasha is saying, I think social skills should be taught in schools, maybe, but there's some things can you teach someone charisma? That maybe Barbara does. Do you offer that in your personal training sessions, Barbara, for extra? Barbara, are you there? Just saying you're charismatic. Do you know what, guys? I'm going to stick on a video. We'll come back to it. This is the Plymouth shooter in one of his monologue type rants. And I know it's not going to be pleasant viewing for most of us, but I'm going to stick it on just so we can get a little insight into what was actually going through his mind at the time.
Not to say that I hadn't had good times in my life, not to say I hadn't had good things happen here and there, but for the most part it's just been me against the world. It's just been me fighting an uphill battle with a big rock on my back, you know, while I'm seeing my that don't deserve half of anything. Now they're getting a free ride to the top. But yeah, that's the point, I suppose. It's when you get beaten down by life, man, I hope I can regain it back. I really do, because I remember when I had that drive and I had that passion. I hope I can get it back. I hope I can, but I'm not sure if I can. I'm going to keep trying. I'm always going to keep trying. I think as long as you breathe in air, it's like in the Terminator, right? You know, fate is nothing. You know, the whole premise of the Terminator movies is that, you know, everything's rigged against you. There's no hope for humanity. You know, we're on the brink of extinction. You know, these machines are unstoppable, killing machines that can't be beaten, can't be outsmarted. But yet, humanity still tries to fight to the end. And I know it's a movie, but it's, you know, I like to think sometimes, you know, I'm a Terminator or something. And despite you know, reaching almost total system failure, he keeps trying to accomplish his mission, you know.
I feel really sad watching that. I know some people have said in the chat, evil is evil, and, you know, there's no forgiveness for someone like that. But watching that, I just feel, do you feel sorry for the guy? I think he was in such a pathetic state. And like I said, we don't know that what could happen to any of us that could lead to such despair, but we can take precautions. We can eat the right food, get enough sleep, and follow all the good advice that Barbara gives us. I know PK's watching in the chat. Thank you, PK. I know we had issues on the connection, but glad to have you with us. Dardasha agrees with PK. People should be out communicating, talking, sharing similar interests. Yeah, but maybe some people find it really difficult. And look, this is a man who murdered his own mother. You can't do anything worse than that, I don't think. But there's clearly been many failings. And when something like this happens in our society, in our country, we all have to question ourselves a little bit, I think. And it's very easy to just say, oh no, he's evil, and it was all because he's an incel, not because of the other issues that were going on there. I hope you don't mind me playing that video, gentlemen. I hope that wasn't in poor taste to show it. And I'm not trying to show sympathy. I'm just trying to understand a horrific incident that happened. And we'll come on now to whether or not we might call it a terrorist attack, because I know a lot of people thought that had it been a different type of attacker, the same attack would have been called a terrorist attack. Don't know if you want to jump in, Chris, because I think Barbara's got a little bit of a delay. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is important to say again that this act, you know, regardless of the whys and wherefores, this is an absolutely disgusting act, as you say, to murder your own mother and then to walk out on the street and start shooting at people at random. That is absolutely, I mean, I do believe in forgiveness, but it's unforgivable in some respects. So, you know, we can talk about incel, we can talk about mental health, we can talk about failings, as you mentioned, but I don't know. It's a tough one.
You're absolutely right. Look, I'm sure had it been someone I know or a family member that he'd murdered, I would be blinded by hate, and I wouldn't be talking like this. It's very easy for me to step back and say, "Oh, there's problems that led to this," but there's a problem that led to everything. I believe every crime that happens, there's an explanation for it, and it might come down to just someone made a horrible decision. But just to say someone is evil, what does that mean? God made them evil? God makes evil people? If you believe in God, and if you don't, then what? They're just evil because of what? They evolved to be that way. Another failing that Piers Morgan pointed out was that the gun. Where did he get the gun from? Yeah, that's a whole other debate. And I'm sure the people that like to have a gun will tell you, well, if he didn't have a gun, he would have done it with something else. What about the terror label, Chris? Would you describe what happened as an act of terrorism?
Yeah, I'm not sure I would, and I can see in the comments, you know, some people are commenting that, you know, in order for it to be terrorism, there would have to be an ideology, a political motive. It's not clear if and what that was. So I'm not sure what that. I don't think that diminishes the severity of the act anyway.
Yeah, this word terrorism gets thrown around, and I do think there are other things that are equally as bad as terrorism, but I think it's probably, perhaps, a lot of Muslims feel that Muslims are portrayed as terrorists very often, or terror attacks by Muslims get certain exposure that other forms of political violence do not, and that's what a terrorist attack is: political violence. PK has made the definition there. It wasn't political. Terrorism is violence for a political purpose. Yeah, I would say terrorism is violence for a political or ideological purpose. And had he said, "I am doing this for the incel movement, and if you don't meet our demands, we'll do it again," then yes, that would be terrorism. So technically, no, you're right. It wasn't terrorism. But had someone else done the same thing, they might have been portrayed as a terrorist because of the color of their skin or the direction that they pray in, that sort of thing. We'll try and get Barbara back in. What do you think, Barbara? Was it terrorism? we're kind of erring on the side of no here.
No,
It was not.
no. I mean, in this particular case, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
when you have individuals like that, they can latch on to anything because they are so broken and so lost.
Yeah.
That anyone with a bit of influence can actually take them in.
Mhm.
So even if the person did do something, I don't know, as a terrorist or right wing or whatever it might be, it's because they were groomed or they were easily influenced.
Mhm. Okay. And is it a fair comment then that some people have made, had this been someone else with a different name and a different skin color, would it have been quickly portrayed as terrorism, even if it was not? Would they have found something if he had a Muslim name? Would it have been, oh well, he was on a ISIS website at one point, you know, he must be a radical?
I mean, that's the unfortunate scenario. You know, you can get individuals who are depressed or easily influenced, and they'll go out and do an attack, and their mental state will not be considered at all. You know, they will just say, "Oh, this person's read the Quran, this person read this hadith, and he's just a fanatic." You understand? So it's unfair. I mean, that is unfair.
Yeah, and I think we may have been similarly unfair in this case in our oversimplification, but it doesn't get the label terrorism because that's not the obvious answer. And we're looking for a reason. We're looking for an explanation for his behavior. When someone goes on a killing spree, when these ISIS-style attacks happen, I understand that they are ISIS inspired because ISIS have asked people to go and ram vehicles into people, and it is part of their ideology. But ISIS, being what they are picking on the mentally ill, the desperate, the young men, again, similar demographic, the men in their 20s that feel like they've been abandoned, possibly, and driving them to commit an atrocity for the ideology. That gets the terrorism label. This one doesn't, but I can understand that it is more than one thing. Radicalism it is a problem. Yes, so is mental health, so is loneliness, so is all of it, and all this kind of toxic melting pot can end up with a terrible scenario. But I thought you would. I mean, I was hoping to get Omar X on here because he'll come on and say, "Oh, if this had been a Muslim, we would have said it was terrorism straight away." And because he's a white guy, we're treating him with kid gloves.
Another point.
Go on, Barbara. Yeah. Go on, Barbara. You're in.
I mean, there is truth in that. If that would, everyone would jump to that. Do you understand? Without giving any consideration to anything else, you know, they will jump on that. Of course, because there's an agenda. There's an agenda behind mental health issues and stuff like that. It's become very common. I don't know if you guys can hear me so well.
Yeah, we got you, Barbara. Go on. Barbara's in and out. I'll bring Chris back in if he can. Chris, is it mental health issues when it's a white guy and terrorism when it's an Asian guy or brown guy?
Yeah, quite possibly. You know, we've obviously, you know, we've sort of debated the meaning of the word terrorism and maybe decided on some intellectual level that it might not apply in this case. But I think you're right that there's a huge bias in the media, and I would probably agree if he was brown skinned or he was Muslim, then the word terrorism would have been straight out, regardless of the facts.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I remember the attack in Reading. To bring it close to home, it was a Libyan kid that murdered, well, and he attacked a bunch of gay people, in fact. And because he'd been out in Libya and had possibly had some links with ISIS, it was seen as an ISIS-style attack, and I think I even described it as such at the time. But there were other times when this kid was saying, "I'm a Christian," and he was sort of confused between whether he was a Christian or a Muslim, and he wound up murdering people. So probably, again, mental illness and maybe some radicalism, but it wasn't as clear-cut as the media were portraying it.
Yeah, I mean, what interests me, Jules, was something that you said previously, which is sort of comparing and looking at a lot of these alleged terrorist attacks as being done by disaffected young men. So I think that there's a wider problem, whether we say it's terrorism or not, whether we say it's fundamentalism or not, incel or not. Why is it that disaffected young men, troubled young men lacking in belonging, maybe, are tempted and have the weakness, if you like, to be talked into absolutely despicable, disgusting, violent acts? That's a concern for me at a wider level.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. What I would say is perhaps men are genetically more disposed to being violent for evolutionary reasons, for physiological reasons. They are just more likely to be violent. So if you only look at the most violent people in society, the majority of them will be men. But these are inexcusable acts, and yes, it is something we should do something about. But there always will be. There's got to be someone who is the most violent person in society, and it will probably usually be a man. Dardasha is saying any attack is a terrorist attack. I don't actually agree with that, Dardasha. As biased as I am, not every
Julian.
attack is a terrorist attack. Otherwise, I could punch someone during a football match and it would be a terrorist attack. It's only terrorism if you have a religious or political goal, an agenda. PK said earlier on, do the incels have a manifesto? Yeah, they don't have a I don't know if they do, actually. Maybe they do. But if you've got a document that is your ideology and you attack someone for that reason, then you are a terrorist. And if not, then it's just an attack. Like a domestic violent attack wouldn't be terrorism. Rizwan Qureshi saying, great show, bro. Very nice. Thank you very much. Good to have you watching. That's your fellow friend from back in the day, Barbara. PK saying violence is an act of power over another. Good point. Barbara, you're back in, mate. What were you going to say? Go on, Barbara. The floor is yours. Barbara's got a terrible connection tonight. These are some images of men purporting to be incels, and we can look at the demographic. They do have certain things in common. Yes. Yeah, Barbara, go for it. Go for it. You're in. You're in.
Am I really in?
Yeah.
I just want to say something. Okay, if this guy did this attack, did he mention any thing related to any far right racism or in that sense.
No. He was in a fit of rage, and he horrifically murdered his mum, first of all. I don't think people with a political agenda do that sort of thing, because people, and I'm not praising people that carry out murder for a political reason, but they've obviously got some kind of cohesion in their mind and an agenda that they want to fulfill. This guy was just on a murderous tirade. Now, I don't know if chatting online all night to incels sent him on his merry way, but he wasn't doing it for that agenda. He might have been doing it because of that agenda.
So that doesn't make him.
Yeah, I think Barbara's agreeing with me there. NDF saying terrorism and radicalism as a headline sell more papers if the public are willing to believe it.
He was doing it because of immigration.
Barbara, we've got a very bad line with you, but I'm going to buy you broadband for Christmas. Fire Green is saying, what's far right? Well, from where I'm standing, it's the opposite of far left. I know we don't like these terms sometimes, far, because everyone thinks they're in the middle, don't they? Far right is anyone right of view, isn't it? PK is pointing out that the far left are also violent. We know that, PK. We know that all too well. Ali, the great Barbara Ali, is coming back in one more time. Go on, Barbara, one more bite of the cherry.
All right, can you
give
hear
us
me?
your piece? Yeah. Go
okay.
for it.
All right. Okay. So this guy never mentioned anything related to far right. Okay, he never mentioned anything about immigration or I don't know, Syria or Iraq or anything like that. He didn't mention anything about grooming, Muslims grooming girls and stuff like that. Did he mention anything like that?
No, not that we know of. Go on.
Yeah, from what I can see, the little that I have seen, this guy was just lost. For me, he's just lost, a lost cause, and he gave up. And he basically tried to go out in his own demented way, in a blaze of glory, in his own demented way. Because are you guys familiar with the Columbine shootings in the United States?
Yes.
Right, you are familiar with that. Okay,
yep.
recently I came across some information regarding that. Okay, and the main reason why those kids massacred all those people, it all started with one thing. One, they were already seen as outsiders or odd or losers or whatever. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. But what happened was it was the bullying, the constant bullying every single day, the extreme bullying that led them to do that. Because they themselves, they felt that their life was meaningless. They would never succeed in this world because they were made to be that way, okay, by these particular people. And they went out and done this massacre because in their own broken minds or broken hearts, they thought that they will get some attention in some way and they won't be forgotten. Because I remember when this massacre happened many years ago, and they left a note, and the note said, "Oh, you will never forget us." So they were trying to have some say in the world. You know what I mean? In their own demented way. It was all right. But then after this, they've done investigations, okay? Because something like this just doesn't happen. And they discovered that those kids, they were bullied in extreme levels. Do you understand? And they were often bullied by guys who are good athletes, good looking, probably guys who were able to get girls without any problem, popular people. So this was the, this is the thing. The other thing I want to mention, the other thing I want to mention was one thing that is not encouraged enough and that is gratitude. Okay, we talked about Khabib, we talked about Muhammad Ali, we talked about their mindset, and these individuals, they have a mindset of gratitude. So when they receive something, they are extremely appreciative and reflective of that. Do you understand? And
Yeah.
gratitude is a quality that needs to be taught in society. Okay, I'm not saying that everyone's going to believe in God or whatever, but you need to believe in something greater than yourself. Okay, and I think society is not encouraging this. People cannot look past themselves. They can't look past their own, you know, lives or something greater than themselves. So if people learn gratitude, show gratitude, this will make them feel better. Because why? Because it's a positive thing that people can do for the spirit, for the human soul. Do you understand? And we're living in times where human beings are, you know, by the elite are telling people and putting in their heads that humans are useless, or we are rubbish, or we are contributing to the world. 85% of the human race, it needs to be extinguished, all this rubbish. You understand? So it's like we have already have the defeatist attitude, but we as human beings, we need to understand that we are unique, we are beautiful. You know, we could, you know, the world has run and succeeded for all these thousands of years because of us, because of the things that we have done. But the problem is, in today's world, humans are being belittled, people are being belittled. It's like, you will never be good enough. That's what we're always told. You're never good enough. You'll never be a millionaire. You'll never be a pop star. But that's not the measuring stick, is it? To be a successful human being, is it?
What is the measuring stick?
The measuring stick of being a human being is to be, I I believe, productive, to be productive not only in your own life, but also to be helping other people. And that's how societies and humans have succeeded all these years, because they looked out for each other. You know, they looked out for each other, and this is what we need to do.
100%. Yeah. You help yourself by helping others. And someone said to me recently, if you're grateful, God will give you more. And I thought, is that literally true? But if you are grateful for what you have, you will really appreciate what you've got, and you will feel like you've got more. And I thought to myself, you know, what have I got in my life that I wouldn't trade for £1 million? You know, would you trade £1 million for a family member, for never seeing your mum again, or whoever's still with us in your life? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't trade one more day for £1 million. So in a way, you're already a millionaire. You've already got so many things that are worth more than $1 million. If you can just realize it's right there in front of you. If you open your eyes, and you are opening our eyes as well, Bob.
The gratitude. It's all about gratitude. And another thing I want to add is, people need to learn to be charitable, okay, to be giving, because it's scientifically proven and psychologically proven that when people who are depressed, okay, if they go out and do voluntary work or charitable work, for some reason it lifts up their spirit. Okay, why? Because they have shown compassion for other people. Okay, they have shown empathy for other people, the same compassion and empathy that they want for themselves. So people need to get involved more in charity work, voluntary work, giving their time. Okay, and and it's a daily struggle. Okay, it's not something that's gonna just happen overnight. It's progressive. It's progressive, and this is the thing: we are so beaten down and so soft that, you know, we haven't got no fight in us. And then we have, you know, sadly we have cases like that young guy who did that to his family. You know, there's no excuse for it. But this is where the world's going. This is the way it's headed. No compassion for your fellow human being. You know, Because that's what we've always shown, isn't it, on TV? That's what we've shown everywhere, Julian. We're shown that. We're shown that we're not enough. We're not enough. We'll never be enough. So that was my little bit. I fixed my connection, see? So I thought I'd better get my words
Yeah,
in.
superb. Much better. Your connection is enough. Chris, anything to add? Because we're going to wrap it up on an hour mark. So you've got 3 minutes if you want to say anything. I'll just remind you of the time you bumped into me in Reading and I was collecting for charity, but that was about 10 years ago, actually.
Well, that just goes to show, Jules, you're a very charitable person. And
Yeah, I need to get back out there. But no, Barbara's right. It is good to help others.
yeah, absolutely. And I think some of the things that Barbara's saying, we all need to kind of learn how to put that more into practice in our own lives, and support others who we might be in touch with, those who are troubled, those who are depressed, those who are feeling anxious, because the opportunities are all around us. I think to help others, and I don't do enough of it myself. I know that, so that was great advice, I think.
No, but you are enough, Chris. Listen to Barbara. You are enough.
You are enough.
And the fact that you want to help people is a good thing. You've got the right intention. Phil Green is saying correctly. Nice show, Jules. Thank you very much. Annabelle Rustral, late to the party. What's going on, family? Well, yes, we are indeed family. And we're just trying to focus on being positive, on being grateful, gratitude. I mean, I'm trying to count it up, Barbara. If someone prays 5 times a day and they do 2 rakat, 4 rakat, 4 rakat, 3 rakat, 4 rakat, how many Hamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen is that? You do the maths. How many times are you thanking God if you keep on top of that one? It's plenty, isn't it?
It's plenty, yeah.
But it only counts if you mean it. If you're just reeling it off, you have to I'm thanking God for everything in my life. And recently, I've really, really tried to be grateful. But I mean, I've got my little boy turned 6 months old today, so I have to be grateful. It's the best in the world. Yeah. So it's really, he's made me grateful for him being here and everything else. It was like a real eye opener.
Well, I can see the twinkle in your eyes. So yeah.
There you go. Well, he's at, that's what that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, be grateful, guys. Ayatollah Troll Khomeini is saying, is this the return of LMTU? Maybe.
Well,
wonder who that could be.
You never know.
Yeah,
I had such a bad connection previously, and I was like listening, and I was like, "Oh, I've got to say." But I thought if I start saying something, my connection's so terrible, they're not going to hear what I say. But someone mentioned something about if you do something, you will find someone eventually that will love you. Someone said that, right? But I remembered a few years ago there was a show. It was called The Undateables. Do you remember it? Do you remember that show? Right.
Yeah,
okay.
That's how we met, isn't it?
Sorry.
That's where we met. I'm joking.
Yeah. So this show, and for those who don't know about this show was about people who have disabilities. Okay, they can have like real unusual tarot, deaf, blind, disabled, I don't know, limbs missing or whatever it is. So, anyway, the show was called Undateables, and I thought it was the most cutest thing. Do you know why?
Why?
Do you know why? Because those individuals have had such a difficult life, okay? Such a difficult life, but they are still trying. Their heart is still open. They're still trying. They still want to be happy. They still have that warmness inside them, and we can learn from those individuals like that. People who are grateful, because
100%.
They can easily it's like those individuals, they will never have the same opportunities that me and you would have. Never. They're the individuals that are left behind in society. Why? Because of their disabilities, and they would miss out on many things. But still, they were still trying to find love. They were still trying to find compassion, companionship. you know, and I thought it was the cutest thing. But yeah, you know, we could learn from that.
We can. I've missed your little TV show reviews. Chris,
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Nice one. Same to you, Barbara, and PK, who was with us earlier. It's been Lessons for Life, and we'll do it all again soon. We were here, and we are gone. Latest.